popping in this February season to remind you that February is a threshold month. It's a trickster month. It'll send you some warm weather and convince you that it is spring. And I fall for it almost every year, except my love. Winter's not done with you yet. Winter's invitation to still and slow and go within and steward the soil of your soul before you leap into action in this false, tricky, wintry spring. So, my love, the promise of winter's invitation is to allow this stillness and this silence and this cocooning that you and I do to fill us, not empty us, even though it creates spaciousness if we let it. But this is the season to continue to let your soul fill you with clarity, to empty out of what is in the way, to remove the barriers, to continue to steward what is beneath the surface that is readying itself for the spring, the courage, the connection, the communion with your divinity. And as Rumi teaches us, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. As Telhard reminds us, above all else, trust the slow work of God. And as the Jewish psalmists sang in the ancient text, be still and know God. This is the invitation that is still being offered in this winter season. And I am going to be just returning from my retreat in Egypt, and I'm so excited to share the fruits of that time with you as you and I choose to gather up the fruits of the winter season and really deepen our practice of silence and solitude, what I call our opportunity to become more intimate with our own divine nature, the God within. And I'm teaching a 4-week class beginning this month. So join me. You can be in person or online here in the Albuquerque area. All the details are on our website, abqcsl.org. Once upon a time, an Amani of quite a long time ago now was a frustrated meditator. And maybe you know what that's like, feeling like you've been meditating forever, you've been sitting and oming and doing all the things on your meditation cushion or however you might do that, your meditation stool. And I got so frustrated with the practice that felt like it really wasn't serving me. I wasn't sure why I was doing it anymore. I was doing it because I was doing what good spiritual people were supposed to do. And finally, in my frustration, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to lay down, which, you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to do sitting meditation. And I'm going to lay on my back and I'm going to lay here in quiet and stillness and just feel what it feels like to be me in this body. That's all I'm going to do. I am going to lay here and actually just pay attention to my experience right here and right now in this body, my inner life, and see what that offers me. So I changed my meditation practice. I started laying down, spread eagle, on my bed, totally breaking all the meditation rules. And lo and behold, what began to happen as I paid full attention to my inner experience, to the sensations in my body, to the quiet that I could find there underneath my mind's chatter. And something pretty miraculous began to reveal. This bubbling up in the middle of my belly, in the middle of my soul, was what it felt like. These champagne bubbles began to rise, and they would pop and they would burst, and I would be filled to overflowing with so much love. Love for myself. Love for my willingness to break the rules. Love for everything that I have ever been and ever was. And love for who I was becoming. And this is the moment when my experience of meditation crossed over into an experience of divine love. And this is what becomes possible when we are willing to slow down enough, to break the rules of practices that we're doing just to do the practice, right? To be good spiritual people, to do our homework. And when we are interested in really meeting ourselves right where we are, right where God is. And this is the season we are in. And I know February is tricky and it wants you to, have an early spring and rush out into the world and do all the doing. But I'm saying, wait. Winter's the perfect time for you to fall in love. This February winter is this perfect time for you to fall in love with you through a quieting practice, through a stillness practice, through silence, through solitude. It's this perfect time to accept the seasonal invitation of slow, of going within, but for this very specific purpose. Not because you're going to be a good spiritual person, not because you're going to do your spiritual homework of a sitting meditation or a quieting and stillness meditation, but because when you do a quieting, when you get still, you have this opportunity to meet yourself right where you are. And right where you are, God is there. Capital L love, aka God, is right there, waiting for you to meet it, to have the experience like I did of all of a sudden recognizing that the love that you've been longing for, that you often are searching for outside of you, the peace that somehow in some way is available to you, has been there all along in you, right in the center of you. And this is why we practice. We don't practice because we're guaranteed to have this experience of divinity, this experience of the numinous, of the realm beyond the physical experiences that we often have. We practice to begin to make ourselves available to this possibility. And the love that you long for, maybe that you search for, that you grab for, that you try to fill yourself with and find somewhere out in the world, right? The enoughness that you and I have been convinced we must consume to have, to feel complete, to feel enough, to feel love, is actually right here in the quiet, in the stillness, in your body, within you. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit, always said there's one place you can find God, and it's in you. It is within, right? The Sufi poem that I believe Hafiz, could be Rumi, but I think it's Hafiz, who says, stop looking for love and God outside of yourself. It has always been right where you are. Right? This is a perennial wisdom truth that we find in all the traditions and all the teachings, way back when to right now. And the invitation of winter, the slowing, the quieting, the solitude, the cozying, is right here for you and I. We need to say yes to this invitation, and there's still time in this February month to go into the silence, to go into the solitude and find love right in your own being. It's the kind of love that changes everything. And I'm telling you, those champagne bubbles bursting in my own body and my own being were the game changer of my life, my whole life, not just my spiritual life, my whole life. Falling in love with myself, falling in love with the being that the divine had created me to be, getting into intimate relationship with this self was the game changer. It transformed not only my experience, but my life. And that is what is possible I want to share with you from the Upanishads. As oil is in the sesame seed, as butter is in cream, as water is in spring, and as fire is in wood, so the self is found within the self. And those who search for it with truth and austerity find it within themselves. Those who search for it with truth and austerity will find it within themselves. Just like fire is in the wood and butter is in the cream and water is in the streams and the springs. The love that God is in you. And it is waiting there for you to be revealed. Just like the fire is found in the wood, as you quiet and still yourself, the love that is the divine is waiting to be revealed in your own heart. And I'm telling you, it's there. And it requires some austerity. It requires some patience and some perseverance, some discipline in your practice to come into contact with it, to become available to the love that is waiting and has been there all along. And it does require practice and time and perseverance and patience. And the austerity is a good word, right? Because it doesn't need your understanding. It doesn't need your thoughts. It needs the truth of who you are to be met and experienced. Sitting still, laying down, arms wide open, heart wide open, mind open, to meet yourself in that quiet, still place. Rev Angel Kyoto Williams, who is one of my favorite modern spiritual teachers, says you must get quiet enough to hear and still enough to feel. This is what a silence and solitude practice offers you. This is what we'll be focusing on all month long. And I say, quiet enough to hear the wisdom of the divine in you, and still enough to feel the love that is available there, the love that will change your life. Because as you become intimate with this wisdom and love within you, you change the frequency of your own vibration. You become this loving field, this energetic field that is resonant and magnetic to the love all around you, becomes attracted to the field of love that you are. You become the change in the world around you that you want to see. You bring to you more of that love. You send out this loving vibration that becomes the game changer in your neighborhood, in your community, in your household, in your workplace. And I'm not just spouting woo-woo, new age, BS. Honey, this is science. They have shown that right around the neighborhood and community around a longtime meditator has less violence and crime. These are just facts, my friend. So when I say this is the kind of love that changes your life, that is a game changer for the life around you, this is science. This is the truth. To sit with truth and austerity in stillness and quiet, making your heart available to the love that is waiting there to be revealed. Revealed like fire is revealed in the wood. You can be inflamed with the love of God. And this makes all the difference. So don't take my word for it. Get into relationship with your own divinity. Get still enough to allow Valentine's arrow to strike you in that quiet, still moment so that you fall in love with yourself, with the love that you are, with the God that is within your own being. And do it in a way that not only is in an ideological, theoretical way, but because you sit still, because you get quiet, you feel it. The champagne bubbles rise in your belly. Valentine's arrow strikes you and you realize that, oh my God, I love everything I am and everyone I have ever been and everyone I will become along the way. Every version of me. I'm in love. And every time I remember this story of that moment that happened in my own experience, I think of the Stephanie Mills song. I never knew love like this before, and I never knew love like this before. This is my prayer for you. This is my prayer for all of us who say yes, to not rush ahead into a false spring, but to accept winter's invitation, to get struck by Valentine's arrow and fall in love with yourself. So I'll leave you with my community blessing for February. May you find a quiet place inside yourself today, a soft room within of breath and belonging, where love is already waiting there for you. May this inward sanctuary be your resting place, your place of divine connection, your place of love, of wisdom, and grace. So it is.